Oh,
And
that's fire. You got to be like randomly just clicking different buttons while we're doing this. Like you got to be like,
there's actually a button that lets it like just go different colors. Oh yeah, there is.
are we lit?
There we go.
Lit, yo. What's popping? All right, so what's popping with you? What's the climate like in Miami? Like as far as like Corona and shit. How's everybody moving around? Or is
I
everybody
feel
like
like
on lockdown?
people are moving around real reckless.
Real
Honestly,
reckless?
I feel like people aren't taking it as seriously as they should. Especially Miami, I feel like people like my age are like, like I'm here for a good time, not a long time. You know what I mean? Just like with like
Yeah.
ignorant like perspective on dying young.
Yeah.
You
That seems to be like that seems to be like the overlying
know?
theme of everybody's especially with the young people. But I feel that that's how it is down here. I'm in Charlotte. I've been in Charlotte for like a couple months,
Oh,
just kind of kicking it. But yeah, it feels like that's kind of the overall thing. So have you been maneuvering personally? Have you been like staying inside or trying to limit yourself as
I
much as
have.
possible?
I'm actually still working though, full
Okay.
time. So my office is closed, to the public, but I have a lot of coworkers. We're all spread out as far as our desks, but I definitely still feel like I'm not as quarantined as I should be. But in our office, we're really, smart about how we distance ourselves.
For
Um,
sure.
but yeah, I just go homework, and then the store occasionally. And that's it. So, yeah,
That's
I've
dope.
just
That's
been
good.
I've been creating a lot too, like on my free time. I've been working on making beats. I just made a mix the other day.
I've been hearing the joints that you've been putting up, the like preview joints.
I need to send you
Oh,
some. um,
fire.
I've been trying to like learn how to use Photoshop. I'm just trying to
This
like
is the time to do
I
like
don't know, use
it's
my
perfect time.
ability. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. as
That's
much as as much as my brain will allow me, because sometimes I'm just like, man, I don't feel like doing anything.
for sure. Exactly. It's like a weird like balance kind of, or like a in between of like, all right, I'm super productive one day. Some
Mm-hmm.
days I feel like I can't even get out of bed. I feel it. I
Exactly.
definitely feel that.
Yeah, like I think it was not yesterday, the day before. I worked like 9 hours, came straight home, and then I was on my laptop till like almost 2 in the morning working on a beat, and it's like slept
Vibes.
5 hours, went to work, like just work, create, and then like some TV and food in between.
How has that been? Are you like really social? Like how is that? Is this like impacting your social life, all this
Not
whole
at all. I feel
yeah.
like
Same.
I often find myself coming up with excuses for not being social, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And I mean like really often. Like
Word.
almost every time I get invited to something, I don't know, I it takes like a lot of energy for me to be able to socialize. It's not my natural, you know, personality. So it's something that I have to be in the mood to force. You know what I mean?
Exactly. No, I'm 100% with you. Like this is why even platforms like this came about. Like I kind of got to get out of the mindset of just being so to myself, you know what I mean? So this is like a first step. I want to start doing like in-person joints like this. But like, yeah, I feel you. I'm with you 100%.
I wish I wasn't like this, but I mean, this is who I am. I gotta,
Yeah,
you gotta work with your own limitations. Find your strengths within your limitations. Because I feel like when people try to force, whatever, it's when it comes off as not genuine, it's not right.
yeah, you just lose
Even if
the essence
it's
of it.
like who people want you to be, if the vibe isn't right, then it's better to just be yourself.
Hell yeah. You're gonna never fail doing that. You know what I mean? You can do that
Like
all day
people,
long.
yeah, like people have been asking me to like get on live and like do a mix. And like the other day, um I was mixing these two Wale songs together, and like people were like, oh, like you don't have any energy in the video. And I'm like, I'm not that type of DJ that's gonna be like super hype and like talking on the mic and like dancing like
I know a video you're talking about. That
you
shit was
know
fire.
yeah. And I'm that person that I'm just looking at my turntables and I'm in my zone. I'm not like a hype person. You know what I mean?
Right,
And
right.
I feel like that kind of throws people off. It's like, oh, you're a DJ, but like you ain't got no energy.
And there's no need to really have to. There's no specific mold to fit, yo. That's what's kind of dope. Even seeing you maneuver like from the beginning. And I love watching you because I've been watching it for a while. So it's
Yeah.
like seeing you pick it up and then like it maneuver and manifest, like you getting it to beats now. Like it's just kind of crazy to see it all kind of taking place. So I feel like that's just something that you'll even if that is something that's in your cards, it'll be something that happens like later on down the line for sure.
Yeah.
But I got a couple questions for you. I'm gonna kick it off light, real light.
Oh, it kind of breaking up.
Oh, I am.
You good now?
All right, perfect. All right, so you're in a relationship, right?
Yes.
Shout out to Mr. Martin. Shout out to him, yo, for sure.
I know, actually.
Hey, what's popping with you, man?
He's gonna come say hi.
For sure.
He was like, "You're in a relationship, right?" I was like, He said, "Shout out to Mr. Martin."
Oh, yeah.
We got a special guest.
What's popping, my guy?
What's going on, man?
But I guess the first question would be like, what are your thoughts on marriage?
I feel like on one hand, it's like a social construct. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's like something that it's just like we're like implanted with this idea from a very young age that that's what we have to do with our lives, and if you don't, it's like you're never going to be fulfilled, you're never going to be like a complete happy person unless you get married. And I feel like on the other side of that, it's like you should only get married if you are a complete full person who's completely self-sufficient and happy with or without a partner. So
Right.
I have very mixed feelings on it. But I do feel like there's a lot of pros and cons and like different ways I can look at it
Do you?
from both sides.
Yo, my fault. My fault. I didn't mean to cut you off. Do do you have like some people have like timelines, and it isn't like gender specific, but is it like do you have any sort of timeline in your head as to where marriage falls in the grand scheme of things? If that does happen to be your plans.
I feel like I actually have like the opposite of a timeline. I'm like,
Okay.
in my head, I'm like, I don't want to have kids before I'm 30. Like, I want to enjoy
Right,
my 20s.
right.
And I feel like most women are like, oh my God, I need to be married and have 3 kids before I'm 30. So
Yeah,
I kind of like see it like the opposite. Like you don't get your 20s back. You know what I mean?
that's a fact. That's a fact, yo.
Even
That's
if you have a kid at a young age and they're grown up when you're still young, it's not the same as experiencing your 20s alone. I feel like that's when you need to figure yourself out, not necessarily alone as in not with a partner, but just not married, not
mhm,
with kids.
mhm.
I feel
It
like a
is
lot of
definitely that is definitely a big time for like evolution.
yeah, I feel like a lot of people don't even know who they are before they're like 30, you know.
Yeah, no, that's a fact. No, that's a fact. They
I
say
feel
they
like I
say your
have
cerebral or frontal cortex doesn't stop developing until doesn't like 25.
5
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. So that all kind of falls in. That makes sense for sure. Um, all right. So with that, what are your thoughts on like proposing to a man?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
No.
So talk
Funny
to me
that you
about
put
it.
it right here.
So
It's not even like about like, men and women are unequal or anything like that. I just feel like as a woman, you should be put on a pedestal in certain aspects. You know what I mean?
for sure.
So, and I feel like that's one of them.
Um. All right. So okay. So I'm gonna just go into the next question. We're gonna edit. We're gonna start it there. Um. All right. So name the biggest adjustment. I'm gonna rework it. My fault. Name the biggest adjustment for you personally, um, when transitioning from single to taken. Like, is there like big changes in your life that happen surrounding that move?
Um, I feel like naturally who I am, I just like I'm a relationship person. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. I feel like I feel like it's more the opposite for me. It's more of an adjustment to go back to being single after being in a
Mm,
relationship for me than it is the other way around.
feel that. No, that makes sense.
Not that it's a comfort zone. It's just more of like I prefer to have that person, you
Yeah,
know?
companionship. Yeah, for sure, for sure.
And like
Um,
whoever I'm with is like not just who I'm like that's my best friend. Like that's like my business partner. That's
hmm
you know what I mean?
yeah, for sure, for sure.
Not
Because it's
just
one of those.
not just a boyfriend. It's like my person, you know?
Yeah, it's an all-in type thing.
Yeah, exactly.
No, for sure. That's I identify with that 100% for sure. Um, all right. So, as a creative,
hmm
is it ever difficult for you to differentiate between people who are genuinely interested in collaborating and people that may just have ulterior motives?
Is it hard to differentiate?
Yeah, like between the people that are coming in genuinely, like, yo, I'm digging your whole movement, your whole setup, your vibe, and
hmm
people that are just coming in with something maybe um already predetermined, I guess. Like, I'm coming in with this angle, you know? Is it hard for you to tell the difference between those two people?
I feel like it is on one hand because it seems like everybody who does or doesn't have an ulterior motive still has that same approach and that same almost like script of hey, I fuck with what you're doing, I want to work with you,
Hmm.
let's build. And I feel like it's always like a slight variation of that same speech. So I really don't even know until I get deeper into whatever relationship that is,
Yeah,
which sucks because intentions are very important, but you just gotta proceed with caution
100%, yo.
and
Yeah.
anybody too much.
As a woman, how much stock do you put into the phrase "happy wife, happy life"?
um Kind of a lot.
Hmm.
Not that, I mean, I feel like every functional relationship is about compromise. So just, jeopardizing your happiness to please your wife is not the wave, but neither is completely ignoring her needs either just because you don't feel like trying. You know what I mean?
Right, 100%.
I feel like happy wife, happy life has, you know, a positive meaning to it, but
Hmm.
it's really all about compromise between both parties. You can't just you can't have someone like a slave to your happiness and you can't be a slave to theirs. It's gotta be 50-50.
I
you
believe.
know
Oh yeah, for
a lot
sure.
of people have different things that they need to feel happy, so being invested enough to figure out what those things are about your partner is more important than just you know
Yeah, I feel like that's really my, because I agree. Well, this is my thing. Whenever it comes to that phrase, I say I think the phrase is true,
mhm
but even if I don't agree with the phrase,
mhm
that's kind of how I kind of speak on that.
yeah, it's definitely true,
Hmm.
but like within reason.
Yeah, yeah, and it makes sense.
you
To
know
me, it makes sense. But I guess I said this once before. I was like, yo, I think my only drawback with the phrase is how fickle feelings are.
mhm
You know what I mean? Like, it's like one of those things where it's like to be to be responsible for somebody's happiness at some points can be exhausting. You know what I mean? Like, in a real way.
no one can be responsible for someone else's happiness. It has to be a supplement, you know what I mean? Like
100%.
I'm happy with or without you, but you make me happier. You know what I mean? I can't
Yeah,
I can't be miserable if you're not making me happy. Like that's just not even healthy.
exactly. That's real. That's real. Um,
Because a relationship isn't always gonna be happy. There's always gonna be outside factors adding stress to your relationship, whether it's money or family or just anything, health, who knows? So,
what are some of those ways to, or you personally, what are some of the ways, because you were talking about outside factors,
hmm
what are some of the ways that you go about limiting outside factors? Because they exist everywhere, variables everywhere.
I feel like I'm really, really lucky to be one of the, I hate to stereotype, but I feel like I'm one of the few women who's able to compartmentalize different stressors in my life. I feel like men are known for being able to do that. And
Yeah.
women are known for just, you had a bad day at work and now you're just going to be in a bad mood at home. And I feel like I'm not like that. Like, as soon as I step out of work, that door is closed. As soon as I get home, like, that door is open. So I'm thankful that my brain works that way, because I feel like otherwise it'd be messy to keep those outside factors out.
Yeah, facts. And that's true. I've always looked at you as a very even-heeled, very mild-mannered person. So that matches up seamlessly. Um, like I was saying before, I didn't want to take up too much of your time. I had one more question to ask you.
Sure.
Hold on. All right. Okay. All right. So the last question I'm gonna ask you, I might ask you one more question, but yeah,
Don't worry about it. I'm
this
chilling.
this one right here. What is your thoughts on breaks in relationships? Is that more so detrimental or beneficial when it comes to the idea or concept of a break?
I feel like the term break is seen as like unhealthy, because it's like you should be able to work through it. You shouldn't have to take a break to fix something. But I feel like,
All right.
I mean, it depends what kind of break we're talking about, though. I don't mean like actually
That's
like
really what it comes down to is what type of break we talking about. That's really what it comes down to.
I don't mean like an actual break. I mean like a, hey, look, I need to take a week to myself, and
Mm-hmm.
I'll see you in a week. Not like go do whatever you want. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
I feel like it's more about space and time and just like being alone with your thoughts than it is about, I don't know,
No.
about like separating from the other person. It's more like if I need a break, it's for me. It's because I'm one of those people that, like, when I'm alone, I like recharge, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. So you enjoy your solitude.
Yeah, absolutely. Even though I'm someone who would rather be in a relationship, I really value
Yeah.
my solitude. And
That's what I was gonna say.
I value a partner that respects my desire to be alone without taking it personal.
That's important.
Yeah.
That's like self-love on
Yeah.
a different
And
level.
so is like comfortable silence. Like, it's okay to be in a relationship with someone and not talk all day. You could just be at the crib in your own bubble, and that person is there, and maybe few words have been said, but like, we're just good. It's just comfortable. It's just
That's
silent.
that's
There's
a
no,
mature vibe.
yeah, like, it's not awkward. It's just two people who just wanted some silence today, you know.
Enjoying each other's company,
Yeah.
That's simple.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's crazy, little. Why don't we have more conversations? I feel like we like just like on the same page with a lot of this shit, but that's funny as hell. Oh yeah, and here's a question that I have for you that isn't really even a question for real. I just kind of thought about this today. I was on Twitter and shit. Am I breaking up?
hmm No, you were for a second, but you good now.
So I was on Twitter and shit earlier today, and I came across this thread, and I was like, who? I gotta ask somebody this question. So I'll ask you. Maybe you can help me with it.
hmm
Do you know when and why the term female became derogatory?
I think it became derogatory when it was used in a derogatory way. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
all about the words it's surrounded by. It's not
Context.
about the term itself.
So the context is what's important with that.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Because
that makes sense.
it could even be disrespectful if you say woman. Like, it needs to be it needs to be a respectful comment for it to not be taken disrespectfully. You know,
Okay.
and typically when the term female is used, it's almost like less than, you know, it's like I'm stripping you down to like your anatomy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay, I can see it like that.
You're no longer a human, you're no longer a person, you're just a female. You know what I mean?
I can see that. Yeah,
I
yeah,
feel
yeah.
like that's where
It can be
most
degrading.
people feel like it gets, huh?
I can see how that can be degrading.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the idea behind it being derogatory, for sure.
That's perfect. That's pretty much all I really have for today.
Yeah.
I appreciate you, Luda. Like, um, what was I saying? I was saying I was just talking to somebody earlier. I was like, yo, one place, two places I cannot wait to get back to: Jersey, because they're about to lift. Well, New York, really, because they're about to lift up the whole ban on the 15th.
Mm-hmm.
And then Miami, because that was something that was overdue. The first time and only time I've ever been out there, you
Mm-hmm.
made that experience dope for me from the time I landed to the time that I left. I felt great. You know what I mean? And that was just important that uh, that was important. That was important, and I really want to come back through there and see what y'all got popping, man. I haven't been to Miami since. You know, I've only been to one time, and
Yeah,
y'all made
Miami's a nice vibe for sure.
fucking great. It was great. So
Aston's gonna be working out of a new studio soon, so you should come through.
hey, believe it. Best believe I'm about to be down there. Between Ashton and Fred, there's gonna be a lot of shit down there to do. You know what I mean? Get into it. So no, I appreciate you for taking the time out to come and kick it with me. I'm about to roll up this good ganja.
We should do this again when you got a better Wi-Fi connection.
Facts, yeah. I gotta give you the proper one. Or matter of fact, might have to just run this back in MIA for sure.
For sure.
Yeah, I appreciate you. Yeah, I
In
appreciate it. Yeah, in person for sure. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for taking the time out. I know you're busy, and we're gonna run this back, yo.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.